We begin tonight with the Obama administration's war against law enforcement.
Please remove. Sergeant at Arms, please remove all these individuals.
You should be fired. Protests spreading to New York City. Protesters repeatedly interrupting a city council hearing where Police Commissioner Bill Bratton was calling for more police officers. Joining us tonight, Christian Adams. He's former U.S. Department of Justice attorney. He served under both Presidents Bush and Obama. He's also the author of Injustice, Exposing the Racial Agenda of the Obama Justice Department. Good to see you, Christian. Let me turn to these protests. This is obviously coordinated, and to what end would the president and his attorney general permit this to go on?
Well, anybody who's been paying attention, Lou, has been following this. There is a deep underground movement, anti-police movement around the country, civil rights groups and academia, the left. They don't like the police. That's not a secret. But what's happened since the inauguration in 2009 is they have an advocate as the Attorney General. They have a civil rights division that has waged a war against police departments using some of the most radical, sort of Looney Tunes anti-police arguments you can have. They're cracking down on cops. And so the fact that the president has injected himself is really not an accident. This is part of a very deliberate administration policy.
And what happens if, as threatened now, and it appears possible, certainly, if not probable, the Justice Department goes ahead and sues Ferguson?
Well, that's a great question, because this is a high-profile opportunity for Eric Holder and his successor to show whose side they're on, and it's not the side of the police. What they will do is they'll attempt to show a pattern or practice. Let's hope Ferguson fights back. That's one of the ways that Holder and his gang has been able to really impose their will around the country, because a lot of small towns just give up. They capitulate. They sign a consent decree.
It's expensive.
Well,
we know
true.
Ferguson, because of the demonstrations, the riots, the businesses burned down in the center of the town. They don't have the money to fight.
Well, they may not, and that will really vindicate this sort of thug tactics of the protesters, of the Justice Department, where they have an integrated operation. Don't forget, Holder sent the Community Relations Service to Ferguson early on to work with the protesters. Holder went and visited with the protesters. He took sides. He announced, "I'm a black man." And he put the his thumb on the scale of justice, Lou, early on. And so it should surprise nobody that this sort of mayhem is now taking place, because people who should have been stopping it have been fanning the flames.
Fanning the flames, and the Community Relations Service, they've been there for, what, 7 months now. Why would they not be working to reassure the citizens, the community there, rather than continue this exploitation of the racial division, of the racial tensions? And frankly, they appear to have done absolutely nothing to improve the economic lot, to rebuild the town, to try to create public-private partnerships, to be creating jobs and changing the direction to make Ferguson a better place instead of one that is 7 months after the shooting of Michael Brown still inflamed.
And what's so tragic about that is widespread grievance has an economic effect on the community. The more discontent and mayhem you have in the community, the worse the economy is. But understand, Lou, this is about an ideological battle. We have a president that when it gets really hot, he goes on television and condemns the violence of the last couple of days against the police. But that's only when mainstream America pays attention. We saw the same pattern with the IRS abuse, remember? Where he said he's going to get to the bottom of it, and he was angry, and that lasted about 24 hours, and they got back to denying everything. So here in Ferguson, we have a president who's suddenly concerned because police officers were shot. But pay attention to what Holder does, what the DOJ does. They will be on the side of the anti-police forces in a lawsuit and in public rhetoric over the next year.
And the Republicans, they're the voice of the loyal opposition. They have a perspective here, but no voice. Why is that?
Well, you can almost forgive them because we've never seen anything like this in America where an administration takes the side of the lawless. They've been doing it over and over and over again. The Clinton administration didn't behave this way. The Carter administration didn't behave this way. This is a new breed of Democrat. You talk to Democrats, you talk to even liberals, and they can't fathom what's happening. It's like a very small cadre of ideological crusaders have taken over government policy. And you could see it across the board, whether it's in Iran, the IRS, Ferguson. It's a fringe administration enacting fringe policies. And one of the ways they get away with it is because not enough people pay attention anymore to the news. So until something penetrates, like it did with Jimmy Kimmel and the president, you don't have a Republican Party with the skill set to respond to this sort of behavior.
Christian Adams, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Lou.